More than half of NBA players go broke after just 5 years in the league. They make the fortune of a lifetime in a few years and burn through it just as fast. Yet this is the first time we've ever seen an NBA star in such public display of poverty and despair. Former NBA star Delonte West, who was beaten on the streets, homeless and begging with cardboard signs saying, "I need help." Just saw Delonte West and gave him some money. Can we really get Delonte West some help? I'm so serious. These were tweets about an NBA player who has earned over $20 million to this date, illegally carrying a gun, fights on the street, arguments, and maybe drugs, eventually homelessness. The NBA star is said to have fallen to the streets because he couldn't manage his fortune properly, and that's how people judge him. It's sad that this is more in the spotlight than his career. His drug addiction is cited as the biggest reason for his downfall. But in reality, there is much more to this story than meets the eye.
When you was in the NBA, what made you fall down? You start smoking drugs?
No, I don't smoke drugs. I've had mental health issues.
Okay.
Delonte West was born in Washington, D.C. in 1983. He lived a life of poverty and began struggling with mental health problems at an early age. West's depression started at the age of 14, but he didn't give up and continued to be a kid who struggled to make a living for himself. Basketball was always an escape for him, but it was only when he was alone in a hospital after several suicide attempts that he found his main strength, which is the God. He had tried to kill himself many times during his childhood and had a suicidal adolescence. West describes his teenage days with these words, "I've never told anyone, but I was always trying to kill myself. I had fair skin and red hair. In middle and high school, I was like a kid to be made fun of. For years, all I heard was the sound of kids laughing at me and making fun of me. I ignored all that and threw myself into basketball. They couldn't laugh at me on the basketball court. In retrospect, I was a spoiled brat. I cried for attention and hurt myself countless times." In retrospect, he attributes his playing in the NBA to this one night. "One night, I made up my mind. I was definitely going to kill myself. That was my night. I'm very serious. I was going to take my life anyway. Instead, I got down on my knees and I talked to my God. Help me get out of this and help me play professional basketball, and I will make sure that I will glorify your name." A month later, I got offers from colleges and I was named Player of the Year. That night, everything changed and my fame blossomed. Delonte West attended St. Joseph University, where he averaged 19 points as a junior. After successful seasons in college basketball, he was drafted by the Boston Celtics in 2004. Celtics took him with the 24th pick in the first round. After 3 seasons in Boston, he was traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he became teammates with LeBron James. Here and throughout his career, he made some great last-second shots. It was clear that he had a long career ahead of him until 2008, when everything started to fall apart. He said he was first diagnosed as bipolar after a game in 2008. He had exploded so badly at an official for no reason at the end of a game that he realized he needed to get away for a while. West left Cleveland for 2 weeks and started taking medication. On the other hand, he divorced his first wife just weeks later. Not long afterward, he was caught by police officers violating traffic laws on his tricycle near his home in Washington, D.C. West told the officer that he had a gun in his waistband. When the officer checked it, he found 3 other weapons on his body. One was a 9mm pistol he wore around his waist, another was a gun strapped to his leg, and another was a pump-action shotgun that came out of a guitar case strapped to his back. He was full of weapons. His leg, his waist, the guitar case on his back. He was caught on a motorcycle with guns. It was this incident that ruined everything. He was then charged with 8 counts and found guilty on 2 of them. He was sentenced to 8 months house arrest, 2 months probation, and 40 hours of community service. By the time he was suspended from the NBA 2 years after the incident, all his money was gone. The former NBA player applied for a job at the Home Depot and started working in various furniture factories. West began to distance himself from everything he found himself in. "I'm starting to hear laughter again in my 30s, just like when I was young," he says, summarizing the whole thing. Years later, the Dallas Mavericks gave him one last shot. In 2012, he was suspended twice for behavior detrimental to the team. Then he was kicked off this team as well. His life was going down a dark path. In those dark days, he met his wife at a friend's house. They became close in a short time. Although West still has a $1 million swimming pool he bought with the money left over from his acting years, he did not even have enough money to buy a water heater in that house. While his wife was taking a shower, West was heating the water on the stove and carrying it to his wife. For his wife, who was pregnant at the time, he cut a jump rope he found in his garage, wrapped it around her finger, and proposed to her. He says, "This is the only thing I can afford. I'm broke. We can't even keep ourselves warm. My brain doesn't work properly anyway, but I love you." He didn't want to see a single trace of basketball. He burned all the trophies, awards, balls, jerseys, and threw them in the trash. NBA coaches and team owners decided to raise money for this former basketball player. Especially Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban has been helping West in various ways in recent years. LeBron James, one of his former teammates, is also among the players who want to help. He even invited West to Los Angeles for his rehabilitation process. Frequent NBA followers know that there was a lot of bad feelings between LeBron and Delonte. There was also a rumor that there was a relationship between Delonte and LeBron James' mother. Delonte has repeatedly denied this story, but he also tweeted insults at LeBron James on social media. Despite all this, LeBron was among those who wanted to help him. LeBron announced that he would help West get treatment. West, who received the financial and moral support of Mark Cuban and many NBA players, it is not known whether he is continuing his treatment now. According to reports, in the last quarter of 2022, he was arrested while trying to break into a vehicle. It is possible to see this man, who played for many teams in the NBA, in a simple state on the streets of Virginia. It seems that he also refuses to accept any help. Thus, we have come to the end of our video. If you like our video so far, please do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Goodbye, to see you in another video.